The fire threat intensifies. Homes are burning near Melbourne as the wine region in McLaren Vale goes up in smoke. We're live with the latest. Today has been a summer scorcher. Southern states swelter as the mercury soars, and there's more heat on the way. The parents hopping mad at dodgy daycare centres. They're crying foul as the government names and shames the country's worst offenders. Nicole Kidman and Hugh Jackman kick off awards season in LA. It's an Aussie invasion. And cricket fans dig deep for the Jane McGrath Foundation. Everyone was dressed in their pink best, raising much needed funds to help breast cancer sufferers.
This is 10 Eyewitness News with Candice Wyatt.
There is a fire threat engulfing our southern states right now, with firefighters tackling dozens of blazes across Victoria and South Australia. We'll cross to Melbourne with the latest on the Carrum Downs blaze in a moment. But first, to the flare-ups in South Australia. Crews are fighting more than a dozen infernos in the worst conditions since the state's deadly 2015 pinery blaze. Hannah Ford reports. Many parts of the country recorded some of the hottest temperatures seen this summer. In some areas, the mercury hit 45 degrees. As thousands flocked to the beach to stay cool, the extreme heat forced authorities to warn people to stay safe around water and to look after their pets. Annie Kearney reports. Returning now to the bushfire emergency unfolding in Melbourne, with at least one home burning as an out-of-control blaze burns in Carrum Downs in the city's southeast. Annie Kearney joins us now from the fire front. Annie, this must be a tense time for everyone there. For the latest on this blistering heat, we're joined now by Amanda Jason. Amanda, when will we see some relief?
Well, thankfully, Candice, a cold front is already starting to move through the southeast. That's changing the wind direction and allowing those winds to be cooler and dropping temperatures. We've seen temperatures drop around 6 degrees in Adelaide, but unfortunately we are still seeing strong winds, and that wind change will be a major concern for firefighters across South Australia and Victoria over the next 24 hours. Adelaide today made it to 42 degrees. We got to 41 degrees in Melbourne, and those temperatures are still soaring. 36 degrees for Hobart. 28 degrees in Perth, 37 in Canberra. Sydney made it to 30 degrees today, but we've got more heat expected tomorrow, and Brisbane got to a top of 31 degrees. Now you can see this front moving through the southeast. We've seen some hot northwesterly winds drawn ahead of that system. That's what's been driving up those temperatures, but behind that, cooler southerly winds allow those temperatures to drop. But as that front moves through, we see some very strong winds coming through with the change, and that can further fan fires and change the entire direction of a fire. So that's a big concern for our firefighters. That cool change will move through Melbourne later tonight. There will be strong winds with that. Hot northerly winds, though, still persisting across New South Wales. So tomorrow we do have a severe fire danger in place for the Greater Sydney region as temperatures hit 40 degrees. Around the rest of the country to the north, we're seeing showers and thunderstorms thanks to a weak tropical low through northern parts of the country. Sunny skies for Brisbane tomorrow, 40 degrees for Sydney. We'll get to 45 degrees in our west, ahead of a cooler change that will arrive in the second half of the day. Canberra will reach 39 degrees ahead of the change. Melbourne will thankfully be feeling much cooler. We'll get to just 22 degrees tomorrow, 24 in Hobart, 26 degrees in Adelaide, and Perth will reach a top of 31 degrees. But I'll have more details for you on this fire situation at 5 to 6.
Still to come, the Melbourne researchers who may have just solved the mystery of malaria. Also a holiday nightmare for several Australians caught up in a deadly hot air balloon crash. The new smartphone app that could leave kids vulnerable to predators. And the bomb cyclone may have passed, but why the worst isn't over in America's cold snap. Donald Trump's attempt to have a humiliating book about his presidency banned has backfired in spectacular fashion. Spurred on by all the attention and tweets from the president, the author released it early and went on TV to spruik it. And as Daniel Sutton reports, it's already become a bestseller. A number of Australians are among the injured after a hot air balloon crash-landed outside the ancient Egyptian city of Luxor. Passengers were rushed to hospital where a South African man was later pronounced dead. Strong winds forced the balloon off course at an altitude of about 450 metres. The pilot, who was also injured, crash-landed in the mountains surrounding the city. A 25-year-old man has been arrested over the stabbing murder of an Australian man in Sweden last month. 30-year-old Kai Foley was found with stab wounds on the morning of December 20 in the streets of Gothenburg, where he was rushed to hospital and later died. Swedish police believe it was a random attack. That powerful and brutally cold storm that roared across the US has caused an extraordinary phenomenon in a beach town in Massachusetts. Floodwaters swamped this street, then promptly froze in sub-zero temperatures, locking in dozens of cars right where they were parked. The so-called bomb cyclone, which hit mainly northeastern American states, is being blamed for at least 18 deaths. An American man attempting to rob a convenience store at gunpoint has found himself on the wrong end of this one. As the armed robbery unfolded, a quick-thinking staffer rushed everyone out of the store except the gunman, who was locked in. Trapped, he started trying to break the door down himself, and when that failed, he turned to begging. Please. Eventually, he was arrested and given 5 weeks jail. A bottle of the world's most expensive vodka has been found after being stolen by a dumb criminal. Security video shows the thirsty thief snatching the $1.3 million bottle from a bar before running away. The bottle is made from gold and silver and was dumped empty on a Danish construction site. The thief clearly didn't realise its worth, and after stealing the world's best bottle, all he has to show for it is a hangover. Stay with us. Up next, the latest on tonight's top stories. And the superstar who's already made these kids' year.
I've been described as a homewrecker, a master manipulator, but I'm just a girl who knows how to get what she wants.
Tonight's top stories: an out-of-control bushfire in Melbourne has burned at least one home and is threatening several more. It's not the only emergency, with several fires burning in South Australia on a day of extreme weather conditions. A new government database is exposing the country's dodgy daycare centres, with authorities cracking down on things like fake attendance records and unnecessary fees. And a tide of pink sweeps across the SCG today to celebrate the 10th Jane McGrath Day. Cricket fans digging deep to raise funds for breast cancer nurses. Time for sport now with Tim Hipsley. And Tim, the Aussies are well on top in the 5th test.
They sure are, Candice. Good evening. They're looking pretty comfortable at the SCG as the Marsh brothers put the foot down, but the day was set up by a superb knock from Usman Khawaja. A moment to savour for the number 3, bringing up his maiden Ashes century. We'll have all the highlights after the break. Also, a ton of fun for one of the Bash brothers. Chris Lynn smashes his way into the record books. Plus, can teen sensation Alex de Minaur continue his hot streak and reach the final of the Brisbane International?
In 2018, we're bringing you more.
This is an awesome idea.
More stars.
It feels real deadly.
Ready to go.
More love. It's your face.
I love this show.
I love you.
I'm actually the fourth Hemsworth. Wait.
And one more host.
Hey, some exciting news.
Lisa Wilkinson is joining the project. There's more to love when the project returns Tuesday.
Good evening. Usman Khawaja has helped secure his test position, delivering a gutsy century on day 3 at the SCG. And while Steve Smith fell uncharacteristically short of triple figures, Khawaja reached 171 before the Marsh brothers helped put Australia well in front against England. Michael Caine has more. Now, we all know Brisbane Heat batsman Chris Lynn loves to smash a few shots into the crowd, but last night he broke more ground. So for continuing to show plenty of 6 appeal, Linny can have our play of the day. 6 if I said that right. He is a pleasure to watch. Candice, he's doing great things for the Brisbane Heat and the Big Bash.
That's what the fans want. Thank you so much, Tim. Well, coming up next, Amanda Jason has all the weather details. Thank you, Amanda, and that's 10 Eyewitness News for tonight. I'm Candice Wyatt. Thanks for your company. See you at the same time tomorrow. Good night.